All right, everyone, welcome to Switch Center, your center for everything Nintendo Switch. We'll be your hosts for the episode today. I'm Quinn.
I'm Trey.
Let's get into the topics. The rumors were true. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green were just announced by Nintendo and will be releasing on Pokemon Day, February 27th. Is it going to be a worthwhile purchase? Is this what the fans want? Let's talk about that.
Which I know recently, even before we knew that this was going to be released, we were talking about maybe some of the leaks that we were seeing before this time too. Because I remember it was either you or Burge had texted a group chat of us and was like, hey, which one are you going to get? And I was like, What are you talking about? And then that was about like, I think 2 weeks ago at this point. And we were like, there's some speculation about this actually happening. And then lo and behold, like a couple days ago, they said like, hey, this is coming and it's going to be pretty great. So
it's crazy. Consistently with Pokemon, like we'll hear a leak and we'll hear some things about it. And most of the time it turns out to be true.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I don't know, like, obviously they don't care. It's drumming up continuous hype. And the one thing I told you guys, and I'll share here, we thought the game was going to be $30.
Yeah.
And we all kind of went, that's kind of rough. And then we hear that it's $20 and it's like, okay, I'll buy it. I think it's so funny. It's like $10 difference.
I know,
but
it's crazy how much a $10 difference makes. Even like just saying the $19.99, like price point, like even just like the marketing behind like why you listed as that. But man, it's like when I hear $30 versus like a $20 price point, I'm like, that's like just a meal at like, you know, like one of my favorite restaurants. Meal. I'm like, and I'm getting a whole game that I can spend hours on. I'm like, and it's like, I do feel like the nostalgia pull a little bit on top of everything.
I think they'll be surprised to see some quality of life pieces missing from this game.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think people are going to have a lot of fun with it.
Just and when you nostalgia. Say quality of life, what do you mean in terms of like that game specifically or any game?
A couple things that are interesting. If I'm remembering correctly, TMs you can only use once on one Pokemon. You have to be very careful with it. That's one that a lot of people will remember. A big one that might throw people for a loop is that physical and special moves hadn't been differentiated at that point. All fire moves are special type moves, or is it physical? Either way, it makes Flareon useless in a run, even though it's such a fun Eevee. So
well, it's like what's really interesting about that as well is I remember when I had jumped from like when there was like a gap from when I played Pokemon to like a modern Pokemon game, and I remember like entering a battle. I think it was Sword and Shield, and like I like finished the battle, and then every single one of my Pokemon had XP after that. And I was like, what? I'm like, I had to like chore and like all the like
switch training,
like EXP share, like all of this stuff. Like when I play the old games, I'm like, that's a part of like, man, you really have to put a lot of work into your team if you want to build it, especially if you're later on in the game and you're like, man, I could really use like a Dratini at this point to get all the way up until a Dragonite, and here I am in this cave and this Pokemon's at like a level 20 and I'm past all 8 gyms. And I'm talking specifically about Soul Silver, which is what I played, and I'm like, man, I have to now go back, probably use Versus Seeker in that game in order to find other trainers that I can actually train this guy up to. And that's going to take me a couple of days in order to do so.
Right. Or if you're me, just run around in Victory Road back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, you could do that too. But that's something I didn't even think of when considering this game. If there's a younger audience that's going back to maybe something this and trying that for the first time.
If there is hate about it, it's going to last for a month max. Right. And then who knows? We're probably going to get Gen 10 announced in the Pokemon Day Direct too.
You know, it's a great time to be a Pokemon fan.
It really is.
If you're not tired of, the same thing over and over again, that is. But,
we love the same thing.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. Give me that same peanut butter and jelly sandwich that is the game. So
truly,
I like a good PBJ.
One game that will definitively, well, maybe not definitively, but most people are going to be approaching casually is Pokopia.
Oh, yeah.
And we were looking a little bit more into this today before we started recording. You want to share some of your thoughts about it?
We'll let you know right after this commercial break from our sponsors. We're not sponsored. This is what we're putting in between, by the way. Here we go. A God Pack. No. Okay. Nice. New. Oh, these are all that. Another premium Poco. Nice. New. Okay.
Sorola's nice.
Let's see what we got next.
And
oh, there we go. Bing. Wow. What a great thing to witness.
yeah.
In addition to the upcoming re-release of Fire Red and Leaf Green, we also talk about the upcoming game Pokopia that will be coming out around Nintendo's anniversary. We've also seen a couple of trailers of this game, but now people have been able to get their hands on the actual gameplay. We've seen a couple of videos, and we wanted to share our thoughts with you now. So, Pokopia. We saw the initial trailer.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the extended trailer. Now it's time that we see people actually...
The super duper trailer.
The super duper trailer. Oh boy. People actually playing the game and sharing their thoughts. That's my favorite thing, because then you get the unfiltered, unbiased opinion of a lot of different people, right?
And it's been interesting because up until these people started playing and reviewing the game, the outlook was, okay, yeah, this game looks fun. It's going to be cool. It's a unique thing, and it doesn't deserve to cost this much.
Yeah.
However, after playing it, it seems very positive.
I wish we had a live reaction of us watching like some of the gameplay, because we literally were watching and we're like, oh, this guy's complaining about like the water mechanic of like a river not being able to flow into an ocean, and then like you showed him breaking a brick in the world and it like flowed into two separate canals, and we're like, yo,
it turned
that's
the grass green around.
Yeah,
it.
I was like, there are actually some parts of this game that I'm like looking forward to, like maybe like just like discovering, like self-discovery as we're walking through this, or just like learning more about it. I hope it's not too like baby mode at times, you know, where it's just like, I'm gonna hold your hand throughout this entire game. Like maybe it's just like at the beginning you get a tutorial, then it's just like you're there to roam after that.
Yeah it seems like there's some story elements, you know, meeting the other Pokemon. Maybe that's all just kind of the tutorial piece of it.
And you know, Pokemon games are so well known for their story.
They love...
Oh, it's great.
They love their story. And I think it's funny because some people really do like it. And you know what? If this Pokopia game starts with the Ditto losing its trainer and walking around this like broken world, there probably is going to be some lore that people really want to dig into. Happy for them, and excited to hear what they discover about it. But I'm probably just gonna be playing it, just running around with these little guys.
But we did do some research on the actual
the developer
of this game, and we were surprised. If I would say, maybe even a little bit pleasantly surprised to see that it isn't just Game Freak. It isn't Game Freak at all that's producing or developing this game.
We found that the developer is going to be Omega Force, which some of you might know, most of you won't. They've handled a lot of the Warriors games. So Dynasty Warriors, even Hyrule Warriors, but it's a lot of these like heavy combat games. Persona 5 Strikers, also a very combat oriented game. And then they had one game that stuck out that we heard in one of these reviews. That we were excited to see. Dragon Quest Builders, I assume 1 and 2. Were part of their repertoire.
But specifically 2, because it's the most recent iteration that came out in 2018 from what we saw.
2018. And it looks like the little blocky setup of Pokopia. And it's so funny. I consider myself to be around games and knowing games decently well. Granted, I don't know Dragon Quest very well, but I had no idea that game even existed. I hope it sold decent, but it's crazy that you take a game like Dragon Quest Builders, put Pokemon on it, and it's probably going to sell 20 times better.
And also to watch a review about Dragon Quest 2, and I think IGN gave this game an 8.8. Like a relatively good score for a game that isn't even like on our radar right now. And if this developer is using that same formula to create a Pokemon game that we haven't really seen and haven't really tried before, I might be getting my hopes up a little bit too high, but I am excited to try this game just to see how it is and how it performs.
I mean, it's a hot take from me too. And it makes sense knowing my background. I love Pokemon Snap was my main game, and I've loved that series. And I've played the main games, but I've loved everything spin-off. Pokemon Puzzle League. I just like the little guys. So seeing a spin-off game like Pokopia, that gets me really excited because I do like the basic Pokemon formula, the RPG stuff, but I like the spin-off stuff. I just want to interact with the little dudes. And if they're going to keep bringing in more developers to do more spin-off games like this, that makes me so excited. Like, we've seen mostly side developers doing mobile apps. Pokemon Cafe, Pokemon Go, a huge example.
Yes.
If they make some more spin-off console games, I would be so excited because those are the games that I think I get most excited about when it comes to Pokemon.
Pokemon Go slapped so hard in 2020.
Dude.
I don't know what my Pokemon on that app are doing now. I hope they aren't just like dead in a ditch somewhere. Sorry guys.
See ya, Luxray.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think about the upcoming Pokopia games. What you think about Fire Red, Leaf Green, and which one you played when you were growing up too. We'd love to hear what you guys have done because that's one of our favorite things. We want to hear one of yours.
Hopefully, in our next videos, we'll have some of our other members with us. You will probably be gone in a short time, but you know,
but
it's
great
that we can talk about Pokemon.
It's great. I feel like this was my last hurrah before I step out for a little bit. But until then, make sure to like and subscribe.
Keep commenting.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Until next time.
Bye.
See ya.